it was a point that I said to Alex when we were chatting before this, is franchising a creative business is very, very different. We're about to franchise, we're starting our franchising journey, but it's dumplings in a bowl with sauce on top. Like there's nothing creative about it, right? So it's cool how you've kind of answered one of my questions, being that tight, loose approach to how you do that, because you are dealing with creatives who need that artistic expression. But
absolutely, and generally it's what they want. That's the thing. They went into business to express that, not to be pulling their hair out because they can't work out how to convert a lead. Totally,
and that's cool that your franchising offering is so targeted to one side of it, yet you leave them really open on the other side. I think that's such a like a testament to your guys' understanding of what, because you were in it. I suppose you understand it so well.
I think actually we've had that feedback, haven't we, even from employed team members where they've worked in studios where the owners or the managers have never actually been photographers or editors or anything like that, and they've definitely commented the difference, because whether it be like particularly the sales room and things like that for James, we've been there. I've been in the shoots, I've shot those sessions, I've dealt with those clients. Over the years I have literally been in those shoes, and so when they're coming with objections, or something's come up, they're not looking at us going, yeah, but you don't understand.
Because
we've been there. And even now, like I'm very open about the fact that I'm desperate to creatively do something as an outlet, because my job has very much not been creative, at least for the last sort of 4 years or so. I say, no, that's not fair. I've done some incredibly
you do all the art
creative development
for the franchise and everything. So you've got some outlet, but I appreciate not being behind the cameras. It's really hard for you.
Totally.
But even with like the client services team, before we had them, I was doing all the lead conversion. Wow. And I was doing all the bookings, and my conversion rate was on point. So nice. You never get that kind of thing where you're teaching new people or you're training the staff or you're talking through stuff and they're not looking at you going, well, you don't do this. I've done it. I teach all the sales for the in-person sales at the studios. Wow. I've done it. And until very recently, I had the best sales record in the company. And that was a hard one to lose, but I was so proud at the same time.
Honestly, when our Reading photographers smashed that out the park last month.
Took me off my feet.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's so cool.
I said to her, how did you do it? And she went, well, I just did what you told me to do.
Simple, isn't it? So isn't that the best thing as a business owner? Like, I followed your instructions and it actually worked. Like,
and we go,
yes. But look, from your website, it looks like you guys focus a lot on newborn photography, or that bump to baby.
Maternity is sort of that motherhood, parenthood journey from pregnancy through to first year and family. There are our main focus.
And Alex, you have spent a bit of money on newborn photography and everything recently. So I kind of, not recently, over the last 3 years, I suppose. You've had 3 under 3 for 2 months. So
my goodness, I bowed down to you. or your partner.
I'm curious. I was going to say, Josh, it's not me that spent it.
True. But it alludes to how big the market is, right? Like, do you see it as like a... well, actually, Alex, what has been kind of your experience with it, or do you showed up to Mateus's and then left it to Yaz for the rest, or how did that go?
I think obviously, with having 3 kids, I've been through this ringer a few times, and my wife Yasmin is like really passionate about capturing those moments and having them forever, essentially. And our experience, like for context, we live in the middle of the North Island in New Zealand. There's 27,000 people that live in our town, so it's so small compared to back home in the UK. But like, you can't get in with anyone for at least 6 months over here. Like, there is such a demand.
Got to plan in advance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you've got to get your get your due date and then be like, yo, who's free? And it's such a manic kind of stressful process to go through just to get a date locked in with somebody that can, deliver on what you want them to. And then that's assuming that the weather's going to be sweet if it's an outside kind of shoot and that sort of stuff. So I I can appreciate the opportunity that exists in that space, and just
there's also
maybe
I don't know about I was just say I don't know about in New Zealand, but in the UK, for example, terrifyingly, it is an unregulated industry.
Oh.
So this is another big thing, and many of the people and clients we speak to. Yeah, so it's completely unregulated. So because somebody takes landscapes, because they can take photos of hills, that means that they can apparently take pictures of newborn babies and post them.
Some even worse than that. They've never picked up a camera in their life, and they just, I'm going to become a newborn photographer, because they had a kid and went along to. They came along to a session and they watched and they had their baby's photographs taken, and they thought, I can do that. So they bought a camera and off they go.
And I'll be honest, some of the things that I've seen I don't know whether it's just particularly as a parent, as a mum, it is skin crawling. The things that I've seen, there was one that went viral actually. It was a photographer in Turkey doing the froggy pose. So I don't know if you've ever.
Cute as.
It's so cute. But it has to be done in multiple images which are edited together. And it went viral. Yeah, so a lot of people don't
I did not know that.
Yeah. So because of their wrists, because of so many parts, they're
not designed to support themselves.
No.
That way or any other way. So.
And a photographer went viral in Turkey because she was basically showing off that she was leaving this baby unattended doing froggy poses, and she still kept doing it, I will say. And there's a whole load of us going, you can't do that, that poor baby, and...
there was that one in America where the baby fell off the posing table.
Yeah, there was one where a baby fell off the posing table because the baby was left unattended. And the thing is, people say to us, I wouldn't by any stretch say that we are the most expensive, but we're definitely not the cheapest. But because we put in a lot of steps with our team, everybody has to be DBS checked. Everybody. They all are pediatric first aid trained. They have to go through newborn safety handling and posing. And don't get me wrong, very much for even my reassurance than anything else, but I think being able to talk to our clients about that we are first and foremost, your child's safety is our number one priority. When I'm not saying that people who haven't had the training that isn't the case, but we want to ensure that every step is followed so that we do not have those instances happen. And the fact that it is unregulated is, I just think
scary.
It's shocking.
So talk to me about the franchising journey, selling that first franchise. What did that journey look like?
It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. I remember passing over, whether it be like that commercial client or first session with having to step away from the camera and allowing them just to go and get on with it. That was, I won't lie, it was a very big learning curve, and you still had that butterfly feeling about it.
Micromanaging to step, I'll do it. Sorry, I'll do it, and you have to stop yourself.
Yeah, we've had to do a lot of training on how to kind of not let go, because we're still very much there. But yes, so I think the journey of it, I think it was step by step. There were a lot of times, particularly for myself, with having Jack and Lyra, so they're 4 and 21 months. So there were times where, strangely, being able to physically not be able to do things, that actually I think progressed us forward a lot quicker, because I had no choice. I could not shoot those sessions. I could not be there. And I think that was where we realised actually that you can do anything you want, but you cannot do everything. You just can't. And I think that was a real eye-opening part of the journey, and going, actually, if we want this to succeed, I have to do this and not do that. So stepping back and then being able to develop those things behind the scenes, and then actually seeing either the incredible growth or seeing team members develop, that was then what projected us so much further forward. It was actually something my coach said to me, not verbatim, but you want to employ people or have people who are better than you to do that job. And actually, there are things that are definitely not my strength, and I would rather go, you go do that. And
that's why we hired producer Andrea, who sits behind the scenes, because if we didn't have her, this wouldn't be happening. Let's just say that. So.
Exactly.
We had a similar thing with the sales session. I was driving down to Cardiff. I'm from there originally, all my family are there, so it's kind of nice to pop and visit mum, doing the ordering sessions in the Cardiff studio, then going to Reading, because it was only a stone's throw from us, doing the ordering sessions there, going to Hemel, doing that, and we were turning over good money, and it was great, and we should we just keep doing it like this? if we hadn't stepped back from that, we wouldn't develop the business because you're so in it, you can't see it. And from stepping back from that, we got a photographer in Reading who's just destroyed my sales record, and we wouldn't have had that if we carried on like we were. So sometimes stepping back is the best thing you can do, so to allow your team to grow into and better than you.
That's so cool. When Alex and I started AMPT, we didn't have kids and just, you know, balls to the wall and just kind of get going as you do. And it takes, for me, it took a massive life event to go back and go, hold on, like, yep, I've created this level of freedom, I've created this, you know, level of profit within the business, but have I made all these decisions based on what I want for my life, or just because the business now pulls me in certain directions? And I think a lot of families don't do that very quickly. So yeah, how did that process kind of work for you? I know you alluded to just saying there has to be a better way, and sometimes that's it, right?
Well, I think definitely from my perspective personally, I definitely hit a point, and whether it was burnout or whether it was just having two very young children, you know, I definitely hit a point where I went, I can't keep going at this pace. Like you say, when you're on your own, I think particularly without children, it's weird. You just keep going. And I think then once, definitely for us, I think we definitely saw a huge shift with the two of them, that you just can't, and I didn't want to keep going in the same way. And that was why I remember, I was out on a walk with Jack because he wouldn't sleep again. All know those days. He was very young, and we were on the phone and you were driving, and we'd always knew that we had an element of freedom that we were trying to target. That was
we had
always
a taste, didn't we, initially, because we went on holiday to Egypt really early on at the very beginning of the franchise, and we ran everything remotely for 2 weeks from a holiday, because you don't really get a holiday, especially in the initial stages of the business.
Well, Tiny Adventure had only been open about 2 months, but due to previous things that had happened before, we were exhausted. We were exhausted. We just had to get a step away for a couple of weeks, but step away still meant that marketing campaigns had to be done, and this had to be done, you know.
And we launched the whole Black Friday campaign from Sharm el-Sheikh, didn't we?
We did, and it was a huge success. And we went, hang on a minute.
That can work. We can do that over 2 weeks. Why can't we do it over 10 weeks? Why can't we do it over 20 weeks?
And I think sitting in that home office made us realise, but I definitely hit a wall, and I was like, we need to shake things up a bit. We need to change. And then, that's what then stepped that forward to then taking this journey. And I think some people, even till today, you know, still look at us and say, you're insane. Like, how have you done that? Or why have you done that with two young children? But they love it.
I think they're all insane. Like, it might not be a popular opinion, but I think knocking yourself out, you know, hoping one day that you're going to have that retirement and then you can start living, is mental.
Absolutely.
Like, what are you doing? There'll not be another tomorrow.
No.
After it's gone, it's gone.
Well, and even actually at the same time, James actually lost a couple of friends around the same time we were having that conversation, and it was very eye-opening.
Scarily close to the same age bracket as well. And don't get me wrong, there was lifestyle choices they made, which I haven't made, so I'm not worried in that sense. But it was definitely a bit of an eye-opening thing. There was like 3 people in the space of 6 months, and they were all well within my age bracket. I was like,
but we also had another friend who was diagnosed with not dementia. Alzheimer's, thank you. Sorry, brain went. And I think there is a little age difference between James and I, and is there?
Yeah, I'm an overgrown child and you're the adult,
I didn't want to say it. But and I think it was eye-opening. So like you say, you have those big life events. It then really changed the way we looked at things to then push things forward. And yes, by the December, everything had been packed into boxes, and the kids were all packed up, and we were heading on our journey to Ho Chi Minh City at that point.
But no one has ever, I'm sure, sat on the deathbed and gone, I wish I didn't travel so much. I wish I hadn't gone out and spent so much time with the kids. You know, I wish I'd worked more. No one's done that. And it's not as simple just to be able to just drop everything and go. You've still got to pay your way. You've still got to, raise your kids and all that sort of stuff. But you don't have to sacrifice everything in the hope that one day there's going to be that shiny retirement. Like, live life now.
Took
Make
a lot
time.
of work to get there.
Yeah.
But
The work-life balance is a fallacy. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. We went along to, what was it?
it was a BNI
Oh
thing.
God, it was
Another BNI.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
We're banging the drum quite hard.
Yeah.
We are,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know
Is there a
why.
BNI to Bali?
But there was
Yeah.
there was a guest speaker, and he was talking about the blend. So there's no work-life balance. You can't balance these two things; they don't work, and there's no middle point. But you need a blend. So if you've got to go into London for a meeting, then want to take your partner with you, and then get a matinee show and do that in the afternoon.
Yeah.
If you're heading down the coast to go and visit a supplier, then do it on the weekend if you can. Take the kids down, go to the beach, find ways to fold your life in to your work life and make them coexist, rather than trying to keep these things as two separate entities, because they're not. It's impossible.
Moving more into like your guys' specific franchise, how does it work? Like what's like people buy in, but what are they getting? How how much coaching is involved? What's the back end systems? How does that kind of go?
So I was just thinking, you've got kind of we found two different sides of people, or types of people who will sign on. Somebody who's never touched photography before,
right,
or somebody who is fantastic at it, but they struggle with the business side. So there's props packs, there's everything. So if you had never had a studio, we can guide you through and coach you through finding the right property and all of those things. However, if you've already got a studio and you've got that part, that's all there.
So we provide all the assets for branding, so all the signage and things like that. We provide all the graphics for that. Obviously, they've got to go and sort out their own signage, but we give them all the things they need for it. All the pricing structures all in place, and all the systems, the processes. Obviously, we've got the ever expanding operations manual, the CRM system.
All that's being deleted quickly because a software's been updated.
We're changing more when I get back later. And the phone systems, the emails, all of that, all the back of house stuff is done. Everything's on cloud servers as well, so they don't need any physical software. All they need is a laptop, the camera, and their studio, and they're good to go.
Nice.
So they can literally open their doors, or once they finish their training, they can open their doors. However, we are acutely aware, and I think that, again, this is where some models get it wrong, is that they go, well, you've had that training, now off you go. And the reality is that everybody's at different kind of chapters in their book, and we have to also maintain a brand identity creatively as well. So if you've got somebody who's never touched a camera, they're not going to be at the same level as somebody who's been doing it for 10 years. So whether that's through, we have basically every other week there's either a one-to-one or a one-to-one meeting with myself or James, which is very much about the logistics, the day-to-day, like what do you need help with? I mean, but I say that every other week. We're on the phone, we're on WhatsApp pretty much 24/7, because we know that if they have those questions answered and they feel supported through that process, they become less overwhelmed and the business grows a lot quicker because they're happier in what they're doing. We also know that it's a short-lived thing, and we won't be expecting phone calls at, midnight Bali time, because that's a challenge that we're navigating.
One of the team practically travelled around Thailand with us, didn't they? Because I was talking to her
every day,
every single day. And then it kind of just stopped. And it was like when you have a headache and you don't realise that you're taking the aspirin and when did that go? And it was like that. It was like,
but
hang on a minute, when did
we
she stop calling? But then I kind of set up a meeting. It's like, are you okay? She went, why? What's wrong?
Because
you haven't called me for a little while. I was like, you answered everything. Right, okay, so you fine. Yeah, and we had a little catch up and we had a chat. I was like, right, fine, she's good. And
so then we have we know that it slows down then. We know that happens, and then we have like the almost every other week we've got meetings, and one of the meetings is more logistic based, but again that's always a bit trickling ongoing anyway. And then the other meeting is a development meeting with myself. So that's very much about the business development side of things.
The development meeting as well.
I realised I said that, sorry. So that's like the coaching of business development in terms of where do you want to be, like where are we going with this, what are you struggling with? And particularly with creatives, there's often issues with like imposter syndrome and confidence and all of those, so we do a lot of work on that.
That's cool.
We also do at the moment, maybe it will change in with the demographic, we do have a lot of women and mums as our franchise owners, and I think juggling that, the mum guilt or the parent guilt, and so there's often we do a lot of work on self-development as well through that process. which is, I think, a really huge part, which again, I think gets missed. And that's why the coaching and mentorship is so important.
Yeah.
And then, yes, we have
the team development meeting, which is every 4 weeks, and that's all studios, employed, franchise, doesn't matter. And that could be, well, it depends on what they need at the time. If we're rolling out a new product or a new sales training, we'll do that. If it's just development on photography side of things, so we might show off somebody's session and then they'll do like a critique of that session amongst the team. So it varies from month to month what we do. Sometimes we book in extra training and extra meetings for it. Just depends on the needs of the team at the time. And the subjects could be anything really.
So that's kind of like the back of house side of things, and then what we provide in terms of the franchise on top of that. So all of the online marketing we take care of. Everything online. We do a lot of work with them to build their local network, their local marketing. As I've said earlier, we're huge advocates of that. We know how huge
that can be. So we give them training in local networking, everything from teaching them how to write an elevator pitch to open networking, closed networking, and what who to look for in the room, who not to, like everyone, and that sort of stuff, and just getting them confident enough to go in, because some of them they're amazing behind the camera. You tell them go into that room, pitch your business, and they'll just go into a massive meltdown. So teaching them those skills so they can go out and start building their local profile in their community as well is a massive part of it. And we saw the confidence that's given Holly is huge.
So we do a lot of work on that. But in terms of then when the leads come in, we've got our bookings team. They do all the lead conversion, and literally the franchises get an email pop into their inbox going, "You've got a booking," which is the bit that they really love, because then they pick up the phone, they do their consultation, they get to know the client, and we guide them through that process, because if they don't know what questions they should be asking, and funnily enough, Alex, something you said earlier really hit it with me, where you go, "Oh, that's my partner," and we actually have something that we call the dad factor. Because we know how important it is getting dad involved in this process.
Weirdly enough, married couples don't talk to each other. Any couples don't talk to each other. So we'll be booking with one person, be it mum or dad or partner, and they'll get all the consultation calls, and they'll get all the emails, and they'll get all the price lists, and they'll get everything. And then you've got the other partner there going, "Oh, okay," and they just kind of turn up. So we have things in place to make sure that information is being disseminated to them. So, because we don't want them coming into the sales room and be going, "Hang on a minute, what do you mean? Alex, I've got to be involved. I've got to go to the session. I've got to do this." We want them to know about that. We want them to be a part of it. There's two people to make a child. So
Alex usually just gets a calendar invite 24 hours before he's supposed to be there. So
we have a strict calendar first policy. So
I won't lie, we live our relationship on Google calendars. I don't think we'd see each other if we didn't.
Not even in the same house.
I also think that's part of the reason why our franchise model is very different, because I think when we look at some of the bigger names that maybe were, particularly in the UK, there was a method that they went through where they just wouldn't tell clients or people who booked in what the prices were. "You've won a free photo shoot." And then they come in and be very, very, very shocked with the price list, which was then slapped on the table in front of them. Whereas we go through it with the clients. They have everything emailed to them beforehand. They have a whole process, because the last thing I would ever want is somebody to walk in and go and feel completely bombarded going, "How much for newborn photography?" And I think, and particularly even the dads.
We don't do pressure sales. We just don't do it. It's banned. If I catch anyone doing pressure sale, they're going to be on the wrong side of HR by the end of the week. It's just not who we are. Like, if you grab somebody's arm and pull them, what's their instant reaction? They pull back, don't they? If you put your arm around them and go, "Come and have a look at this," they'll walk with you. And you just don't have to push people or trick people. And you're saying those companies where, "Come and get a makeover and a photo shoot," and then they walk in and they get sat in a sales room and they're on them, and they feel like they have to do something before they're walking out there, and they've spent their holiday budget or money they don't have. We don't want our clients going into hard times because we sold them something they don't want. We want to fulfill their need. They come to us for it. So the more transparent we can be with that, the more informed they are, and happy and informed people make decisions that are right for them.
We also know from a team perspective and team retention, if they're hitting conflict a lot regularly, in that order room or whatever, they're not going to stay.
For sure.
They're not going to stay.
For sure.
So that's very much like we give them everything to do that. Though we then give them all the guidance and the suppliers, and we even have discounts with our suppliers to order all of their products, their books, their frames, you name it, ready to deliver to the client. So all of those systems are in place. They don't need to work anything out.
They just show up and take photos. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So
what's
just,
the
can I, sorry, Josh, can I just clarify something?
No.
Yeah, see, that's where the flow breaks. Just touching on the bookings kind of flow. So do I understand it correctly that essentially you guys will guarantee a specific or a certain number of like minimum number of leads, not necessarily paid bookings? It's on the franchisee to close.
We guarantee bookings, 100 bookings across the year, guaranteed.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. They don't touch the leads. We deal with all that. We do all the lead conversion.
The only leads in theory they would be converting are their local network. And even when they do that, so basically there's a session fee. So you book your session fee and then clients can purchase their products afterwards. So what we've kind of, we only think is fair because of the legwork through their local networking, if they convert those leads, they get 100% of that session fee.
Gotcha.
So the franchise owner has got an additional revenue stream. And we know people are motivated generally by money. But, they've got an additional thing to motivate them to do that local networking because they then get 100% of that session fee land in their bank account.
Grows your brand, grows their side. It's awesome.
They all get a code and they give that code out, and that can be used to purchase online, or it can be used when they call up the bookings team, and then that 100% that money goes to them.
Yeah, nice. And so what's the size of the team internally for you guys?
Where are we at now?
We're literally hiring at the moment.
10 internal.
Like
Yeah, nearly at 10 now, which we are having to grow, and we've already put out new job ads for, because I can now officially say we have just signed on our 7th studio.
Oh, cool. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. That was off of our event the other week.
Nice.
And a number in the pipeline as well. So we're hoping that is going to be drastically going up as well. So, but yes, so Tiny Adventure Bristol is launching imminently. So
you guys are the first people outside of the franchise owner to know about it.
There we go.
Yes, awesome. there are others in the pipeline. I'm not going to jinx it, but watch this space.
Yeah, cool. And what's your guys' growth journey now? Is it just more franchises? Are you looking to grow out the commercial side, the editing side? Like what does the growth look like for?
It's definitely the franchises.
Now,
I absolutely love working with our franchisees. There is something, as much as I've missed the creative part on camera, I won't lie, being able to coach them and work with them and then seeing them grow and develop, for me, that really fires me up. I just love it. So definitely from that side of things.
I think you're going to lean heavily towards coaching as well.
Forward,
yeah, you love it. I mean, what you light up when you're talking to them, and it's amazing. So obviously we're about to launch the podcast.
Yes.
Hey, here we go.
Yeah. So I'm staying out of that one. I'm behind the scenes completely on that one. So Katy's going to be hosting the podcast. It Can Be Done, which will then directly funnel into our coaching platform, which we're about to launch as well.
Wow.
So that's mainly online courses at the moment, because I do not have the current capacity for one-to-one outside my franchisees. They're my one-to-one coaching clients, so to speak. But yes, there are going to be online courses and things, so that maybe if people aren't quite in the place to have a franchise but they still want some business guidance, they can do it that way. But yes, it's very much growing the franchise is our number one focus, really. We're even down to the point where we've said we're not going to open any more direct studios that we own. It is purely focused on the franchises.
It's too easy to get dragged back into working in the business when you've got your own studios. Whereas with the franchises, we can solely focus on the business. That's part of the reason why we came out here. It wasn't just about the travel and spend time with the kids. We knew it would force us to not go, I'll go and do it. I'll go and do it, because we physically can't.
We just had to move halfway around the world to do that.
Alex, I told you, but all roads lead back to Bali, bro. All roads lead back to Bali.
Well, we were only planning to be here 6 months. We came here on our honeymoon, oh my goodness,
5 years.
5 years ago now.
And anniversary today, we got engaged.
7 years ago. Today,
Oh, congratulations.
But yes, so we were only planning to be here 6 months. We were here a week. The kids started their new school, and we just went, yeah, we're staying here.
Yeah, so
we're
cool.
staying here.
It's a different energy, eh? It's a different
really
vibe
is,
here.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up there. It's honestly been so cool to have you guys here and hear about your journey, and appreciate you guys sharing the news with us about, you know, the new franchise. That's really exciting. Yeah, it's just been cool. And I think the biggest thing I've really taken away is how you guys, you know, really focus on your franchisees and making sure that, you know, they're happy. And, you know, to see that you're able to take employees to franchise owners is, you know, a testament to who you guys are and what you're all about. And yeah, it's just been such an awesome chat. So I appreciate you making the time.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll get this all tidied up and put into a nice podcast. And yeah, be cool. Awesome.